the laws to make them better serve the public, we make our position known on those subjects. We have a charitable arm of our organization called We Care that raises hundreds of thousands of dollars in charitable donations during the year and distributes those funds to local charities. So it's an organization that I'm very proud of, and I welcome any member of your listening public to come visit us at the Bar Association and check out the services that we have and see what we're all about. We have a lawyer referral service. A person in need of a lawyer can call the Bar Association and be referred to a lawyer who's a member of one of our panels. We have an arbitration and mediation service. People who don't want to spend the money and take the time to resolve their disputes in court can come to the Bar Association and get our assistance in resolving those disputes.
Excellent. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Stephen G. Leventhal of Leventhal, Mullaney & Blinkoff, LLP, President of the Nassau County Bar Association. This is Ray Schwetz on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
This portion of programming on WHPC is brought to you on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, helping both the public and lawyers since 1899. They are the largest suburban bar association in the country. The Nassau County Bar Association offers clinics where you can meet privately with an attorney to prevent or solve legal problems involving Hurricane Sandy, foreclosure, wills, or elder law. Speakers on almost any legal topic are also available to schools or community groups. They can also help lawyers advance their legal careers and offer a place to network. Learn more about the Nassau County Bar Association by calling 516-747-4070 or visit nassaubar.org.
Welcome back to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Ray Schwetz, and our guest today is Stephen G. Leventhal of Leventhal, Mullaney & Blinkoff, LLP, President of the Nassau County Bar Association. All right, so you mentioned, and again, I mean, it's a lot to cover in a short program, but the scope of just the services that are provided to the general public, I know in our conversation we were talking a little bit about if I'm looking for a lawyer in a specific area, you know, adoption or whatever my need might be, how does that work with the Bar Association? How do they help?
Well, every day we have members of the public contact the Bar Association either by telephone or by arriving at our headquarters here in Garden City, and we have panels of lawyers from among our members who practice in particular areas of law, and we match the member of the public with a lawyer depending upon the problem that person has and what lawyers we have that practice in that particular area. It's called the Lawyer Referral and Information Service. And anyone interested in availing themselves of that service can contact the Bar Association at 516-747-4070 or can check out our website, nassaubar.org. We're soon to launch a newly redesigned website, but it will have the same web address.
Excellent. All right, that's great. Because I mean, you definitely need it to be. Sometimes people don't want to talk right away. Sometimes they want to initiate the conversation electronically, and then it opens up. Then it becomes more of a personal thing after that. Excellent. Now,
you might be interested to know that the Nassau County Bar Association is the nation's largest suburban bar association. We have approximately 4,500 members.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we're a very large organization.
Now, how does that compare to, I mean, I know it's the largest suburban, so I guess how does that compare to like a Manhattan or another city? Or? Well,
New York City is an enormous bar, and I'm sure one of the largest, if not the largest, city bar in the nation. There's the American Bar Association, of course, a nationwide organization. I'm also active, as you indicated in the introduction, in the New York State Bar Association, and then there are local bars like ours throughout the country.
Now, what would you say is the most important thing? I mean, there's a lot of important things, and there's a lot of, like I said, a scope of services, but what's the most important thing that you feel that the Bar Association provides?
Well, I would have to answer that question by saying the two most important things.
Okay.
We really serve two goals. The first is to provide services that help the members of the legal profession be the best lawyers that they can be. And the second is that we help to serve the public through our access to justice programs, through our law reform programs, through our lawyer referral services, and through other similar programs. So it's really a double, a two-goal organization.
Gotcha. And of the services you provide the community, which are the ones, I guess, that are receiving the most attention from the public or the most attendance?
The access to justice programs, for sure. We have had hundreds and hundreds of members of the community come through our doors to participate in our mortgage foreclosure clinics. Unfortunately, mortgage foreclosure is still a big crisis here on Long Island. We started those programs in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy. We had Sandy recovery clinics, and they morphed into mortgage foreclosure clinics. That's still a very active program. I mentioned the open house. It's really a heartwarming sight to walk into the Bar Association and see tables arrayed throughout a large room, and members of the public sitting having consultations with lawyers who are donating their time purely out of their own generosity and their desire to help people, giving them direction, helping them to understand their problems better and maybe understand how better to resolve them. So I think the Access to Justice program is one that we're extremely proud of at the Bar Association.
And I think you should, because I think given the caliber of folks that I know several attorneys who provide, pro bono services via these clinics, for lack of a better word, or however you want to.
No, that's a very appropriate word to use. Yeah.
And these are people who they're well paid for their time when they're in the courtroom, and they're donating their time out of passion for people. And it's interesting, again, because that's not what the public generally thinks of when you think of a lawyer.
And also, I have to say that it's a very, very rewarding thing for a lawyer to do. And I would encourage any lawyer who is listening, who is not participating in that program, to contact us and participate.
You were listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Ray Schwetz, and our guest today is Stephen G. Leventhal of Leventhal, Mullaney, and Blinkoff LLP, President of the Nassau County Bar Association. So, what other organizations does the Bar Association partner with?
Well, as I've mentioned, we partner with the Nassau Suffolk Legal Services and the Safe Center in connection with our Access to Justice program. We have many organizations that utilize our home as their home: the Nassau County Magistrates Association, the Women's Bar Association, the Amistad Black Lawyers Association, the Asian Americans and Latin American Bar Associations. We have partnered with the New York State Association of Certified Public Accountants to have joint networking events and other professional groups. So it's a constantly evolving, ever-changing mix of groups and networking that occurs at the Bar Association.
That's great. What are there events or you mentioned the networking. Are there events or clinics or programs that are put on specifically for business owners?
Absolutely. We have educational programs that often are very interesting to members of the business community, and we have them often attending and participating in the programs, sometimes as speakers, not just as members of the audience, but often lecturing on their particular areas of expertise. So we welcome members of the business community to participate in our programs and partner with us, for sure.
And what other ways can businesses get involved? I mean, myself, I know as a banker, certain ways, but maybe you can tell us.
Well, we are constantly looking to establish relationships with potential sponsors. An organization like ours, not-for-profit organizations generally, and bar associations in particular, cannot possibly provide all of the services that we do funded only by dues revenue. Mm-hmm. In order to do all of the great things that we do, we must have sponsors. And we try to make sponsorship of the Bar Association as valuable to those sponsors as it can possibly be. We try to give our sponsors an opportunity to network with our members. We give them opportunities to introduce themselves and speak at our events and form relationships with members of the bar. And it's been very rewarding for many of our sponsors, as it has been for members of our association.
And one of the things I can say as someone who's been involved in that capacity is that it's a very welcoming atmosphere. It's something where, if you're going as a sponsor, you do feel not only welcomed by the people there, but also people tend to introduce you, and it's a very proactive atmosphere. So thank you so much for that. And I would also encourage other businesses who are looking to connect with attorneys that this is a good way to do it.
Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Now, a couple of quick rapid-fire questions for you. What do you do to relax?
Well, I think at the moment my favorite possession is my Kindle.
Okay.
I enjoy reading. I have a little bit of a fondness for cooking. I like to get home, put a saute pan on the stove, add some olive oil and perhaps some onions and garlic, and then open the refrigerator and see what we've got to add to it.
All right, now you're making everybody hungry. I hope the cooking program comes on after us. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of law?
Oh, boy, Mount Rushmore of law. I would have to say one person who immediately comes to mind is the great United States Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren, who presided over the Supreme Court of the 1960s that gave us Brown versus Board of Education. It gave us Arizona versus Miranda. It gave us Mapp versus Ohio, the search and seizure case, Miranda being the right against self-incrimination. Gideon versus Wainwright, the right to counsel. It was a watershed era for the rights of individuals, and it's a very wonderful and inspiring thing.
Pretty big Mount Rushmore, yes. All right, and if our listeners would like to get a hold of the Bar Association, you may contact them at 516-747-4070 and at the website nassaubar.org. Stephen, it's been incredible to have you on today. Thank you so much. We'd like to thank our guest, Stephen G. Leventhal of Leventhal, Mulaney, and Blinkoff. Thanks for coming on the show today.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
So my co-host, Anisha Boston Hill, likes to close with what we call DB's philosophy. So despite flying solo today, I'll bring her in and say an inspirational quote for lawyers: you must keep your mind on the objective, not on the obstacle. William Randolph Hearst. We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Anisha Boston Hill, your co-host and producers. The creative director of Tower Talk Business Radio is Rudy Breedy. This is an NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available on iHeartRadio as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nassau Community College, WHPC. We'll talk with you next week.